welcome to Qatar 365, the show that gives you an inside look around Doha and the surrounding areas. I'm Miranda Ratti, and on this episode, we focus on the world's most important resource, water. Coming up, we meet divers dedicated to saving coral reefs. Dr. Sama Adam explains how Qatar's taking steps to conserve water, and we visit a desalination plant powered by artificial intelligence. Coral reefs are the most diverse ecosystems on Earth, home to a huge portion of ocean life. But according to scientists, more than 90% of the world's reefs could be lost by 2050 unless urgent action is taken to tackle global warming. But what does that mean in reality? Well, we're here at Qatar University to understand more. Marine scientists from the university's Department of Biological and Environmental Sciences and the Environmental Science Centre have agreed to let us join them to find out exactly how they protect corals in the Arabian Gulf. But to do that, we need to travel by speedboat, 90 kilometres off the coast of Doha.
We are now, unfortunately, at the stage where we can no longer just trust that if nature is given its course, it will naturally recover. Unfortunately, most of us in the scientific community are persuaded that we are a little bit beyond that in terms of the coral reefs. So what we are doing today is monitoring and preparing work for our coral restoration project.
It's amazing to think that coral reefs have existed for more than 200 million years. But devastatingly, almost a quarter of the world's reefs have already been destroyed. That's why dive surveys and reef restoration projects like this one are so vital. Every single scientist on board is an experienced diver. Typically, they each spend at least an hour underwater.
What we are doing is that we are surveying several coral reefs to understand the dynamics of the coral reefs in terms of what kind of growth they do have, how much mortality we are witnessing during the summer, how much disease. So to understand their dynamics, so to be able to predict which are the places that may be good for nursery, the reefs can be degraded and can be restored, or there's no need for restoration because they're already reaching a tipping point at which we cannot recover them.
Under the water here is a coral nursery with fragments from donor colonies that are nurtured until they are in good enough shape to be returned to their degraded reefs. The types of fish that visit the corals also give an insight into how healthy the area is. Samples collected are taken back to the labs for assessment.
This is a small juvenile coral. It's about 1 millimeter in diameter. And what we do is try to identify that coral down to family or genus to help us predict what we might see in the future of our reefs in terms of restoration, what we might be able to do for what species we're selecting to help keep a nice diversity of our reefs in terms of species.
Results so far are surprising. Despite the Arabian Gulf being the hottest sea in the world, the rates of coral recruitment are high. This occurs when tiny coral larvae, or babies, float away and attach themselves to new reef communities, and is imperative for the continuation of species. Qatar University is the first college in the country to allow women to study marine sciences.
I love the environment so much, and I decided to contribute to that by being a marine scientist and helping the ocean. To change a society, you have to be the change.
And by helping nurture and encourage coral growth, the scientists here are hoping that change will be a positive one. To a different type of conservation now. This is Qatar's Science and Technology Park, where scientists from ConocoPhillips Global Water Sustainability Centre are working to understand environmental-related technologies, including water purification and wastewater recycling. And I sat down with Managing Director Sama Adam for a crash course.
We established the Global Water Sustainability Center with the primary mission is to develop innovative solutions for the byproduct water from the oil and gas operations. So looking overall with the population growth, the pressures on water, and which is really our most valuable resource, we really need to have some strategies to ensure sustainability. And that includes recycling. Water recycling will help definitely in minimizing the sourcing and the consumption of fresh water.
Tell us a little bit more about what your focus is.
Not a lot of people know that for every barrel of oil that we produce with it 3 to 5 barrels of water. But that water, typically, we dispose of it. We re-inject it back to the reservoir to maintain reservoir pressure and enhance oil recovery. But there are a lot of pressures and with the stringent regulations to figure out ways that we could use this water in a more effective way. We have more than 10,000 school-aged children that are passing through that water visitor center. And it's amazing to see them coming over and learning about what their role is to minimize consumption.
When we think of ConocoPhillips, we often think of hydrocarbons or oil. How does what you do here at the Water Centre focus on sustainability and negating some of those emissions?
What we are doing with our water management is going to be helping in reducing the overall emissions. As we do more and more recycling, water reuse and recycling, that will help you to do the right thing. And when I keep on saying the word minimizing and raising awareness of the value of water and need for conservation.
And as you say, awareness is key. How do you foresee the future of water consumption, particularly as we continue to grapple with climate change and as it becomes even more urgent?
We need to be more cost effective and more effective in managing that water resource. The industries need to play their role. The more we do recycling and reuse and minimize our dependence on that fresh water consumption, the world will be a better place to live in.
Less than 1% of the water on planet Earth is safe for drinking. That's why here in Qatar, with its huge expanse of desert and sea, being creative when it comes to H2O is essential. With that in mind, Scheherazade Ghafoor went on the trail of some of the most unusual aqua innovations in the country.
Water security. It's a challenge faced by every nation in the world. What is readily available here is seawater.
But how does it become water that we can consume? The most common way to desalinate or remove the salt from water is by evaporation technology, until this massive plant introduced another method, reverse osmosis on a very large scale.
A production of 725 megalitres of water daily. And getting the water from the sea to taps for 47% of the population is an intricate process. An intake structure captures all the seawater into the plant. It is clarified of solids, then undergoes a two-step filtration until the final process of reverse osmosis.
Injecting the water with a pressure, we can separate the ions and we can remove the salt. We can concentrate the salt in one part and take the drinking water or the product in the other part.
But they are doing all of this in a high-tech yet sustainable way.
Desalination is very energy intense, and it's a technology which is really only to be used when there's no fresh water sources available. If you compare the two main desalination technologies available right now, reverse osmosis is a way more energy efficient, but still is a lot more energy demanding than any other conventional freshwater sources that we have. So our company is focusing on using artificial intelligence, big data, neural networks, and other digital solutions to make sure that we increase the efficiency of our plants. Increase efficiency by improving our chemical consumptions, by improving the life of our assets, but mostly by reducing our energy usage.
The Water Centre at the Qatar Environment and Energy Research Institute, or KIRI, is also dedicated to realistic solutions.
is there?
We look at the development of novel technologies that can be more energy efficient, that can be integrated with renewable energy as we transition towards solar within the country. So we have a responsibility in Qatar to be able to translate this research into the global drylands. So countries that have less resources than are available here, our research can really make a difference in the developing countries.
And their research looks at innovative systems.
We designed this in-house in Kiri, and it works quite well, but it's a smaller scale. So what happens is we actually get like a produced water from the plant, and we run it through the system, and it goes through the different chambers, and there's actually filtration systems in there, and it comes out fairly clean. So it's not necessarily used for your normal wastewater. It's used for the ones from the oil and gas, because that contains a lot of oil. This is the air conditioning condensate treatment system. It can also be used for ablution water.
Local materials are also essential when coming up with solutions, like date palms and local limestone to remove contaminants.
As you know, our Qatar vision, it is focused for water security and food security, so that we are focusing for the water treatment. It is part of our country vision.
And it's that vision that sees enough drinking water for all in a sustainable future.
And that's all we have time for on this episode. But if you have any questions, just reach out via our hashtag Qatar365. Thank you for watching. Please do check out euronews.com for more and join us again next time on Qatar365.